Everyone's been asking for a list of free VR Sandbox games on the Meta Quest 2, 3 and 3S. So here it is. You'll find both new and classic titles, and while some might not seem like true sandboxes, hey, that's how they're listed on the Meta store, so don't blame me, blame Zoop. Don't forget to use code VRLADS for 10% off all VR games, and let's go! So first up we got Yeeps, which is a VR environment where players can build, share custom maps, explore community creations, and participate in game modes such as hide and seek, prop hunt, and team-based challenges. The building tools and gadget system allows for detailed customization, and new content is added on a bi-weekly update cycle. So next we have VR Soccer, which provides multiple soccer-focused play options, ranging from 1v1 matches to larger 7v7 games on themed pitches like beaches and water arenas. Alongside competitive play, it includes practice arenas, skill mini-games, and side activities such as tech ball and arcade-style challenges. Here we got the absurd 20 guys. This uses Ragdoll physics to let players control a group of characters who can grab, climb, and stack to solve obstacles to complete objectives. The game includes daily challenges, buildable courses, and a feature called Copycam, and lets players apply custom faces to their characters, which is absolutely absurd. Next we got Towers Empire, a VR strategy game where players construct defenses, gather resources, and direct troops in large-scale engagements. The game emphasizes hand-on control, allowing players to oversee the battle and manage their empire in real time. Now we have Tempo Travelers. This focuses on fast-paced movement and action-based objectives. Players choose characters with unique abilities and complete runs through evolving challenges, earning currency for cosmetic upgrades. Game modes include Infection, Speed Demon Ride, and recurring multiplayer events. So next we have Tantan's Hangout. This is a VR multiplayer experience with movement inspired by Gorilla Tag, because of course. Players join lobbies for chatting, roleplay, or game modes like horror and sandbox building. Customizable rat avatars, color selection, and third-person viewing tools support social and creative play. So next up is Super RC. This is an early access RC car racing game where players build miniature vehicles and test them on user-made track. The game includes sandbox environments, multiplayer races, and a customizable garage with new parts and cars added over time. Now we're going to get creepy crawly with Spiders. This is a competitive VR game in which players control, of course, spiders that collect cocoons and return them to scoring zones. The players support cosmetic customizations and allow players to steal cocoons from others, combining traversal with light strategic elements. Going out to this world now with Save Our Orbit. This is a community-driven space simulation focused on removing debris from Earth's orbit. Players pilot ships to locate and recover materials, contributing to a shared global progress goal. Features and systems continue to expand based on community involvement. Next up is Roblox, and I know what you're thinking, Roblox isn't a sandbox, but it technically is because it's every game you can think of. Now obviously in this, players create, share and play 3D experiences across devices. It supports cross-platform multiplayer, avatar customization, and a large catalogue of community-made worlds and games. So yeah, still technically a sandbox. Back to more social games now with Prompt Party. This is a social VR world building space where players replicate tools to create customized objects in shared environments. It supports group hangouts, theme maps, and optional upgrades while emphasizing real-time collaboration creative, kind of like Rec Room. So next we got Pets and Run. This combines mixed reality with platforming. Players build obstacle courses and race through levels using animal characters. The game offers new daily challenges, competitive multiplayer modes, and community course features. Back to more riding experiences now with Off Track VR. This centers on bike riding and vehicles in open environments with physics-driven movement. Players can explore maps solo or in multiplayer, and future updates plan to introduce tricks, customization, and competitive racing. Now we got Magnetic Me, a VR parkour game where players use magnet-based attraction and repulsion to move through obstacle courses. It includes a course editor, cosmetic unlocks, and community map sharing during an open alpha development phase. Now we got Leap Guys, a multiplayer platformer where players use hand gestures to navigate courses with up to 30 players who can compete and cooperate in various modes with customization options and a growing pool of user-generated maps. Getting to the top now with King of the Hill Mountaintop Battle. This is a VR action game where players defend a mountaintop from waves of rock creatures, not the rock, actual rock creatures. Combat involves punching, grabbing and range attacks, and the game includes difficulty settings and a map editing tools. So now we've got Hello Dot, which is basically like a Tamagotchi in VR. This is a mixed reality experience centered around interacting with digital Peridot companion. Players use gesture and voice to play mini-games, unlock customization items, and engage in daily activities. Now we're back to the most standard VR experience with Gun World VR. This features large selection of weapons, attachments, and physics-based interactions. It includes multiplayer PvP, co-op, and PvE missions, and a sandbox mode for building loadouts and testing strategies. Now we've got Grab, a movement-based multiplayer game where players swing, climb, and launch themselves across parkour courses. It includes real-time level creation tools, character customization, and a large library of community-built challenges. Joining a gang now with Gang Warfare. This is a sandbox action game where players progress from small missions to larger influence in a crime-driven city. The game includes story objectives, open-world exploration, and physics-driven combat interactions. Next, we have DigiGods. This is a VR creation sandbox where players build and share game-like experiences, including shooting arenas, platformer spaces, and simulations, with seasonal updates such as Spooktober, introducing temporary items and events. Getting all cyberpunk now with deceptive reality. This is an action title that features melee combat, shooting, and slow motion mechanics. Players progress through a story involving corporate conflict and can switch between open exploration and mission-based gameplay. Getting more casual now with a VR world sculpting game where players shape floating islands and populate them with plant and wildlife. It offers structured progression and a free-form creation mode with ongoing development guided by player input. Now, you've heard of Plant vs Zombies, but what about Cactus vs UFO? That's right, this is Cactus Jam, a VR action game set aboard a UFO, combining parkour, combat, and multiplayer modes such as horror, prop hunt, and deathmatch. Weekly updates introduce new content and customization options. Now, this game is a lot of bull with bull hit. See what I did there? This is a VR sandbox focused on open-ended play. Players interact with objects, perform stunts, and experiment in multiplayer environments with voice chat and character customization. So next we got Bally. This is a mixed reality sandbox that turns real-world balls into interactive gameplay elements. Players can design courses, practice physical skills, and develop custom mini games for an evolving editor. This is one of the most unique ones on this list and is ever evolving. Now we've got Animal Dash, which is a multiplayer racing game where players control animal characters navigating obstacle courses. Physics, interactions, and environmental hazards influence the race outcomes. Now we've got A Persistent Illusion, which is a single-player puzzle game combining rolling ball physics challenges with escape room exploration. Players navigate courses to access wormholes and solve environmental puzzles to progress. So next we have Sharks. This is a multiplayer physics sandbox where you literally play as a shark. Obviously, you can bite, grab, build, and battle your way through chaotic underwater fun. Collect treasure, customize your sharks with hundreds of cosmetics, and team up or compete with friends in public or private lobbies. So next we have Dr. Galaxy. This is a chaotic VR sandbox where you play as a mad scientist, creating bizarre alien life forms and sending them across the galaxy. You can mix, fuse, and paint alien parts in your 3D printing lab to craft hilarious, unpredictable creatures. So next we got Downshot. Everyone knows Downshot. It is the most sandboxy sandbox game probably on this list, as it's fully physics based, has sandbox featuring mod support, spawnable weapons, tools, props, and enemies. We all know about this one, and now all that's left is for you to select the video on screen now, or else select the video, watch it now.